Welcome back to another episode of The Hardcore Casual with your boy, Base the Kid. Now, usually I would just be doing a quick weekend wrap talking about the action that took place over Saturday and I guess Friday sometimes, depending on if there was fights getting ahead. But with what took place last night, I thought it was only right the episode came out because I got some thoughts that I want to let off and I didn't want to have to do two videos about it. So I'm going to amalgamate everything, just talk about some of the fights that came on last night and the aftermath of some of the other stuff that happened. So as always, please like and subscribe, and thank everyone who's watching this video. Had some really good numbers on the last couple. My subscriber base has actually jumped up quite a bit significantly over the last week, so I thank everyone who's subscribed and locked in. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So now we come to the main event. Now I'm not going to talk too much about kind of how the fight ebbed and flowed, because I did breakdown videos. You watch those on Tuesday. I'm gonna talk about the I'm gonna talk about that on the breakdown with Tony, so I don't really want to repeat myself too much. What I do want to talk about, I got it right and I got it wrong, because I predicted that Usyk would win, but I predicted he'd win 8th round knockout. I thought that AJ was going to be a little more aggressive. He was going to try and throw a little more than he actually did in the first half of the fight, and Usyk was just going to sort of turn on the tempo. He was going to sit on a few more of his punches and ultimately, if this time take him out. I thought he was going to take him out in the first fight. I predicted the 10th round, it went points. I predicted the 8th round, this one went points. Now where I'm wrong, I said if this fight goes the distance, AJ wins without a doubt. As long as he hasn't been dropped and he stayed on his feet the entire time, he's going to get the victory, because the powers that be need him to be the champion. I got that wrong. Like, they scored it correctly, apart from Glenn Feldman, the American judge, who inexplicably had it 115-113 to AJ. The same way that Howard Foster in the first fight, who scored the fight, he scored it 115-113 to Usyk when they gave AJ 5 rounds when he clearly at best won 3 at a push. So yeah, you could see that I guess someone was looking favorably for AJ. It was a split decision victory. AJ did well. I mean, funny enough, a lot of people said they didn't have him winning. I actually did have him winning up until the 6th, and then I had him winning again after the 9th. I scored it the first round to AJ, second round to Usyk, third round to AJ, 4th round to Usyk, 5th round to AJ, 6th round to AJ, 7th round to Usyk, 8th round to Usyk, 9th round to AJ, and 10th round to Usyk, 11th round to Usyk, 12th round to Usyk. That's how I had it. I did have it 115-113, but it was a clear Usyk fight, because even some of the rounds that I gave AJ could have been swing rounds at the start. So, and even the 5th round could have been a swing round to AJ, to Usyk as well. So yeah, like either way you slice it, sort of the 115-113, 116-112, Usyk was correct. So yeah, I got it right initially, and then I got it wrong same time, but it is what it is. AJ stayed on his feet, and I feel like he gave a better performance, which ultimately should have been the goal. It should have been, well, there wasn't really much more you can do, and at least you can have your head held high. Then we saw the end of the fight. So both of them embrace as warriors, on the floor, on their knees, bowing to each other, embracing, hugging, all respectful. And then as soon as the fight winner gets announced, AJ loses the plot. Now, in this emotional time, it's like, you can see he's probably thinking, well, what more am I supposed to do to be able to beat you? Like I'm the stronger guy. You're not stronger than me. I'm bigger than you. I'm supposed to be more powerful than you. I hit harder. Like, how have you beat me? Like, tell me how you beat me. He gets into an argument, altercation with some of Usyk's, members of his staff and his team. He picks up the Ring magazine belt and the WBA super title, talking about these mean nothing, like I'm bigger than, and then dashes them out of the ring. Like, storms off, then storms back, takes the mic, takes Usyk's, he takes the Ukrainian flag, and he's just chatting an absolute madness. And this whole point, I'm thinking to myself, like, this guy has lost it. Like, the years and years of having to keep up this media facade that he's had of just kind of being this darling, not really saying what he wants to say, constantly getting criticized for everything that he does or doesn't do, you know, while he's ultimately had to be learning on the job. It's just all sort of taken a toll. And I'm disgusted by his team, because there's absolutely no way that you love this man, that you apart from Benga, who initially took him out of that moment, there's no way that you love this guy and allow him to self-implode like that on live TV in a moment that wasn't his, because ultimately you lost. Like, it wasn't your time to get off all those emotions and all those feelings. Like, he had all of that to do. He could have done all of that at the post-fight press conference. He could have done all of that on an IFL interview or a Seconds Out ID boxing. He could have found Ade and just, you know, done all of that. But that's Usyk's moment. This guy's come back from a war, a legit war, it's not some fantasy thing, a legit war, to give you the chance to win these belts back. He's gone through the same amount of hell that you've literally gone through. The pressure that you think you've got on your back right now, what do you think he's got when he's got an entire country looking to him for support and to give them some kind of peace and glory in a time when some of them now don't have homes, don't have running water, like have no infrastructure left. This isn't your time to do what you've done. And I understand it from an emotional point. He's probably not thinking that his mental health at this point is probably gone. He's probably got some kind of mild concussion. He feels like his whole world's just collapsed, because without the belts, now he's almost like a who needs him type scenario, or everyone, the easy road he had in terms of maybe trying to get some fights, now that's going to be difficult because he's not used to being the B-side. You know, maybe now you can't ask for 50-50 with certain man, and you got to take short money against guys that legitimately want to take your head off, whereas before you could have offered short money for that. All of this is the route back. And then you see someone like Deontay Wilder, who got 2 back-to-back KO defeats to Tyson Fury and is somehow still number 1 in the WBC rankings, when you lost 1 decision to Usyk and ended up in like spots 4, 5 and 6 within the WBO, the IBF and the WBA. All of this stuff's weighing on him, and I get the frustration. Like, I think it's disgusting how he's kind of been treated. Whether part of that is to do with his association with Eddie Hearn and whatnot, it could very well be, but I'm not here to like speculate on that. That's another video I could do for another time. But in that moment, like, he was wrong. Very wrong. I can't defend what he done, and even trying to explain and understand the mindset, that wasn't your time. And the chance you had to kind of get a nation back on side with you, or even maybe gain another nation, which would have been like the Ukrainian one, to embrace you, now you're going to have even more detractors than you had before, because they're going to say, oh, this guy's a bad sore loser, like he's not giving this other guy his time after he's gone through the same amount of hell as him. This guy's a super millionaire, what's he moaning about? Yeah, okay, he had to put on a little bit of a facade, he chose to do that, why is he moaning about it now? That's his business. I can see all of that. So ultimately, yeah, it didn't sit right with me. The fact his team and no one in his team, like, you know, basically took that chance to say no, we're not doing this, like, was disgraceful. And I agree with Fraser Clark, who was in the studios. He's like, look, I'm a part of 258, but what just happened there, it shouldn't have happened. Someone should have dragged him, and quite frankly, if it was me, if I was there, I would have took a punch off him to stop that from happening, because he didn't need to do that. And now it's just like, that's just damaged him even more. You see him in the post-fight press conference, he broke down. It's like Usyk has literally like broken this man mentally through everything. He's like, I'm the bigger guy, I'm supposed to be able to beat you, and I've changed tactics. I thought I had everything right and I didn't beat you. Robert Garcia was in the corner telling him, you're up on the cards, but you got to keep this up. I don't know if that was strategic or whether he thought that was how it's supposed to be, but ultimately the wrong words again. He's got all these yes men that are around him. He needs to get rid of those if he's gonna do anything more significant in the game. But ultimately, the one good thing that has come out of this is the facade's broken now. The nice, yeah, he might be a nice guy, but in terms of this cookie cutter nice guy attitude that, you know, he portrayed to the wider audience, it's gone. So now he can be himself. Say what you want to say when you want to say it. Be who you want to be. If it's the villain at times, be the villain. If it's the hero, be the hero, but be you. And mentally, that should free him up once he realizes that he might be a heavyweight champion again, but he can just have the fights he wants. He can just take fights now. If he wants to improve as a boxer, he's got the opportunity to do that. So yeah, that's my kind of thought on it. I'm gonna leave it there. I want to thank everyone for watching. Again, please like and subscribe. I'm happy with the numbers. It's growing. I'm sort of getting there. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you thought about this. And ultimately, thanks for watching. So for now, Hardcore Casual out.